If you are new to having your own business and you're feeling discouraged, it's okay. I'm going to help you in this video avoid some of the biggest mistakes that I see. Now, I have invested in more than 200 companies and I've helped thousands of entrepreneurs start their own companies, have their first sale, and learn about business over the years. And when I started, I did everything wrong. I'm going to tell you, I did everything wrong. I didn't price the correct way. I was always underwater, always in debt. I didn't value myself correctly. And I also didn't know how to build a team. I didn't know a lot of things. And so it really came back to haunt me. And so today I wanted to show you a few things that I've learned along the way that can just help you speed up the success process. Okay, so there are about 5 million businesses launched every single year. So you're not alone, and there are a lot of people making mistakes out there. I'm going to show you 14 different ways very quickly as possible that you can avoid those types of mistakes. Okay, the first one is overcomplicating things. A lot of times people will start a business and they'll have all kinds of things. They'll think they'll need like a fancy website and they'll need a funnel and they'll need somebody working with them and they'll just have all kinds of things that are just piling up and it's not making the money. So you want to keep things simple. You want to keep every part of your process simple, from what you offer to how you sell it to how you deliver it to the customer. The second thing is building a business that people don't necessarily want. What research have you done? How do you know that someone else wants what you have to offer if you haven't done research? Really simple way to do research is to go on YouTube just like this and do some searches to see what other people are doing, to see what people are watching, and what's resonating with people. You can also do surveys. You can ask people, if this thing were built, or do you have this pain point? What would be a great solution for you? That's how you can know and have some sort of signal beyond what you think people want. The next thing is not building in a growing market. So, kind of like part two or step two is you want to build something that you can see is actually growing rather than getting smaller. So a good example that has been used multiple times is you're not going to necessarily go out there and try to start a newspaper because newspapers are going away or they have gone away. People don't look at newspapers. But you could do something that has the same feeling of a newspaper, the reason people like newspapers to begin with, but has that edgier, more modern take to it. So if you can find something that people have liked in the past, or that you liked in the past, and have a spin to it, then you will win. But trying to sell something to people that they wouldn't pay for, or they would pay too little for. Like another good example that I've seen actually happen is people trying to do like resume building. In a lot of cases, depending on who you're targeting, resume building could work. But there's two problems with that. One is that a lot of times resumes are not even looked at by people who are hiring. So that's kind of going out of style. And the other thing is that people who are trying to get their resumes built, they don't have work, most likely. So they may not be spending money that way. Of course, there's always an exception to the rule, but it's just an idea of like, what can you get into that is growing? AI is growing. So you may want to look into the thousands of ways you can use AI in your business. Okay, number four is not being consistent, is starting something, getting discouraged because it didn't work, and then just stopping. If I had been discouraged when my YouTube channel didn't work, I wouldn't have more than 200,000 subscribers now that have all come in the last 2 years. If I got discouraged the first few years of doing YouTube, but having consistency and just keeping going forward is how you win. You outlast the competition. Now, number five, I'm just looking at my notes. Number five is not getting coaching. Okay, so Serena Williams, greatest tennis player ever, right? She has a coach. LeBron James has a coach. Beyonce has a choreographer. Everybody has a coach who is very, very successful. You may not even know about the fact that they have a coach. Business people have coaches. So for you, If you're only working by yourself and you're not getting help from someone who knows more than you do about the topic, then you may be making a mistake. I always look to people who are doing better, quote unquote, better than I am financially and success wise, and I ask them questions, or I look at their courses, or I look at their videos. If I can reach them, then I'll pay them to train me and be my coach. That is what you do. So if you don't have the money to pay someone to be a coach, do they have a course? Do they have free content that you can look at? Do they have a book? You're always wanting to grow. Number six is doing something just because you think it's going to make money. So doing something because you think it's trendy. Going back to AI, there are so many ways to use AI. You don't have to do the version that is not interesting to you or that is something that you're kind of against even because you think, oh, well, AI is trending. I'm going to make money this way. I'm just going ahead and do it, even though I hate this, even though I don't like the customers, or even though, using it in this way feels wrong to me. There's going to be a way that aligns with you if you just give it time and look for it. Number seven, in the same vein, not being yourself. I say be yourself so the people looking for you can find you. You must be yourself because that is what people are looking for. They're looking for different. They're looking for unique and custom and real in this world of AI and this world of influencers. They're looking for people who they can relate to and who they can, it's like kind of like they want to be them, but they also want to hang with them. So even if you're like nerdy or introverted or kind of awkward, like I'm definitely awkward. I don't think I'm nerdy and I don't think I'm introverted, but who knows? Maybe people do think that. Um, I, even no matter what it is that maybe you've been told by people that you care about that you're a certain way or I used to be called weird, when I was young by other kids. You're weird. And now I get paid to be weird because there's other weird people who watch me and they're like, "Yeah, I like the way you talk. I like the way you observe the world and the way that you express yourself." You're going to make more money if you're yourself. It's just the truth. Like I've worked with thousands, tens of thousands of entrepreneurs over the years. And the ones who stand out to me are the ones who are unapologetically themselves. And then they go on to be trendsetters in their own way. Number eight, waiting too long to launch. You are too worried about your logo. You're too worried about your font size and your font color. You're too worried about the wrong thing. You're worried about the equipment you're going to use and this and that, and I have to wait 3 months for that to happen. The sooner you put something out into the world and get signals back, the sooner you can start making money. So don't let yourself stay in this perpetual self-sabotage cycle of, oh, it'll be done in a month or two. Do it now. Number nine, trying to get outside funding and focusing most of your time on that. That's a big mistake that I have see people do. Obviously, I'm an investor, as I'm an entrepreneur and an author and investor. And so obviously I'm having a lot of conversations with people who are looking for money. But the people who are just out there building a business, whether it's a $10,000 a month business or a $10 million plus a year a business, the ones who are just building their business are the ones who get the attention of other collaborators, other opportunities. That may be outside funding, but you probably don't even need that. So make your customer your investor, meaning make money by selling stuff to your customer. That's how you run your company. And that's the fastest way to success. All the other stuff is a distraction, it takes longer, and then you have a bunch of bosses, and you did all of this to be your own boss, remember? Okay, number 10, not listening to your customers. So going right back to it, not listening to your customers. You're just thinking about where you were, what you want. I'll give you a great example. How I Met Your Mother. Do you know that TV show? If you ever watched How I Met Your Mother and you didn't like the ending, I didn't like the ending. It is probably because they didn't listen to us, right? They had a very specific way they were going to end when they started years prior. They said this, the producers, creators said this in an interview. that they had a very specific way they were going to end this. They knew it from the pilot, and that's what it was going to be. But then when it was out in the world, we wanted something different. Like all of us watching wanted something different to happen, and they didn't listen to us. And then there was just a very disappointing ending. So you are not listening to your customer. And if you're not listening to your customer, you may be building something they don't even want. And not just at the very beginning, but in the middle of it. So if you're feeling stuck and you've been at this for a while, get on some calls with your current customers. No sales, just ask them how they're doing, what they need from you, and start to put together, see if there are patterns that you can work on. Number 11, trying to do more than one offer at a time before you've made a lot of money. Oh, I can't stress this enough. You need to stick to one offer. You need to stick to one platform that is your traffic source. It can be YouTube, it can be Instagram, it can be LinkedIn, it can be Substack, it can be Threads. But choose one and get really, really consistent with it. And then over time, you'll get good at it. You won't be good at the beginning, but you'll get good at it if you're consistent. Choose one offer so that everything you do makes that offer better and makes your process of getting customers better and better and better. What some people do is they start a business, they have an offer, it makes some money, and they're like, cool, if I do the same thing with something else, if I charge more, if I make something that's for high ticket people, if I do this or that, then that's going to make money too because this made money with that formula. The problem is you're abandoning all of the stuff that made this one work. Or if you're going to dare to do one and do it side by side or even have three, I know people have 3 or 4 different things that they're doing before they've made any money, you're going to have your attention split in a way that's not going to be helpful to you. So instead, some people say, wait till you've made $1 million on something and then you can split focus. I say, if you can get to like $100,000, then you can start making decisions. Like earn your way to having multiple income streams. It's just the way that has worked for me in the past. Like I worked on a business for 10 years and then I started to branch out. And it works for me over and over again. And I have made a lot of money for myself in the info space. So I've seen it happen where if I have too much distraction, it doesn't really work. But if I have something and I have like, I can stack my offers and I can do all these things, I can have all these things happening because I built the foundation that lets me have those options. Number 12, undervaluing yourself and your time. So you're underpricing because one of 2 reasons. You may be thinking, my audience and my customers cannot afford more than this, so I'm going to give this to them so it can be accessible. Or you may be thinking, I wouldn't pay this much, so I'm going to charge what I would pay. But you're, what they say, pocket watching, right? You're making assumptions and you're not giving your audience or your customers the option. So yes, you can have low ticket items and do really well. I talk about that quite often. I have a lot of low ticket items. But about 10% of your audience can afford to pay you about 10 times what your core offer is. So if you're charging people $99, there are about 10% of the people who follow you or who will follow you who can pay $1,000 or more and who want to pay that. And think about this. When something is more expensive, don't you give it more value? Don't you say, it's more expensive. I want that one day. I'm going to aspire to it because it's probably valuable. We just do that naturally. So instead of trying to come back down to meet somebody where they are, you might say, is this something that the value of it is worth a hell of a lot more than what I'm charging? And am I underselling? I know so many people who have 10, 20, 30 plus years in a corporate environment, and they're charging pennies for their time and their insights because they've never sold before. They've only sold within the corporation. So they think, well, who would pay me that? How dare I charge anything over X amount? But the problem with that is you're not going to find the right customer if you're not pricing correctly. Doesn't mean everything has to be super expensive. It just means you need to look at what the value is of what that person is getting versus what you're charging them. And if you're going to help somebody make an extra $20,000, $30,000 in a year's time with something that you're going to give them, some advice, you can charge them $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 for that. If you're going to help somebody learn a skill or accomplish something that they've always wanted to accomplish, even if it's a hobby, what is that worth to them? What is that experience worth? You and I will spend money on vacations, on clothing, on concerts and experiences. And when it comes out, we look at it and we're like, oh, that's expensive, but I'm worth it. Let your customer be worth it. They are the ones who get to say what they're going to spend. You have no idea what they're willing to spend and what on. Number 13, so we have two more. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel. And it would do me such a big favor if you subscribed. If you commented any of these, let me know which ones have been your favorites so far, which ones have been the most helpful. And let me get you to 13 and 14. Okay, so 13 is never executing, just being a forever student. So the same way we talked about number 5, which was making sure that you're getting coached, making sure you're consuming curriculum and you're reading books and you're getting trained. You also want to do, you don't want to be stuck as a student full time. So this is what I do: 50% consuming and learning, 50% executing. All day long, it has worked for me for years and it always helps. 50%, I'm going to look at the courses, I'm going to go to the live virtual events, I'm going to go to the summits, I'm going to do the things, and 50% I'm executing. Number 14. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Number 14 is one of my favorites. Okay. Biggest mistake, but this is something that you can fix right now, is not working with peers. It's constantly looking for the guru to help you. Instead, work with accountability partners. I just had a big event called Your First Million Live. We did a virtual summit, but we had 50 people in person. And what I loved about it was that they were listening to me and my guests, who were very, very impressive. But mostly what they did during these 4 days was meet with each other before and after the summit and on each day, and they held each other accountable. And then they went through, and even after the event, have continued to meet with each other. They do that on my schools. They do that themselves in WhatsApp groups, meeting on Zoom, meeting in person. You want to connect with people. If you don't have a group where you can connect, go to my Your First 5K membership. It is free, and it's a lot of beginners who are learning about business from scratch. So you're going to be very welcome there. It's a very friendly place, and you'll learn a ton. So you can do that 50%, and then you can do the 50% doing. Good luck.